What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. I'm here with my buddy John. I sold John the motorcycle when I got into the accident because the insurance company totaled the motorcycle. John basically took this bike. He put new parts on it. Like, the whole rear was totally screwed up. The whole tail section was like completely discombobulated, right?
Yeah, it was smashed. The rear tire was broken.
The rims were messed up, huh?
Got the new exhaust gun and the new rear sets.
So, this is the story of how I got into the accident with the motorcycle, and I'm finally reunited with it once again. Alright guys, let's get going. Oh man, this motorcycle feels familiar, yet unfamiliar. After a year and a half getting back on this motorcycle, man. Oh man, but with that exhaust, it sounds like a complete beast. Wow, this thing sounds like an animal. When I had this motorcycle, I didn't have the level of confidence I have now. But now riding this motorcycle and giving it the full beans petrol effect, I'm starting to realize that the first gear is so short. It gets up to 10,000, 11,000 so quickly. But November 2019 was one of those days I will never forget for the rest of my life. I was in a big motorcycle event. There had to have been at least 150 different motorcycles. There was some kind of a charity event. But I had an overall great day. There was absolutely no drama and no casualties, because, you know, usually in motorcycle events, somebody usually crashes or something like that. But this was one of those more respectable, organized events. And it was a lot of fun. So it was towards the end of my day, and I was going home. But I was very excited. Anytime you put the key on a Ducati 959 or a Ducati Panigale in general, you get these pleasure senses that go up your spine, into your brain, and it just wants you to twist the throttle and continue to do so in a very aggressive manner. And you know me, 3 months into getting my motorcycle lessons, I shouldn't have bought this motorcycle, but I did. And so I learned my lesson the hard way. So I'm getting on the highway, and as I get on the highway, I didn't see the car on my left-hand side as I was pulling into the highway. And then next thing you know, I'm getting high-sided from the rear, and I get tossed onto the side of the road. And thank God this is just the entrance of the highway ramp and not the actual highway itself, because there would have been cars coming and it would have been a complete disaster. But long story short, I was tossed to the side of the road from my motorcycle, and my gear was completely trashed. I landed on my gloves and on my helmet face down. The helmet was all screwed up. All my gear was absolute high quality. One thing I did correctly when I was learning how to ride a motorcycle is invest in the right gear, and that's something I suggest for you guys as well. Damn, she's pretty. So my Dainese gloves, they were absolutely shredded by the fingers. If I didn't have those gloves, who knows, I would have been missing a finger or definitely a tip or two. So the gloves definitely saved the day. So if I have one good tip for you, buy good gear. As for the jacket, I landed on my chest. So a lot of the jacket was completely screwed up. And then, of course, as I landed on my chest, I did a tumble. And as you can see, the metal pieces on the shoulders, they were absolutely shredded and mangled. The forearm area was completely shredded and mangled as well. My jeans were okay, but they had a couple of holes in them, so I had to replace the jeans. But otherwise, I came out of this whole thing with a couple of scratches and bruises. And the bruises, they weren't really anywhere else besides my feet, believe it or not. The boots that I was wearing, they were the Dainese track boots, and that's what I continue to wear because it covers up your ankles and it provides very good protection. So I think if it wasn't for the boots, my feet would have been totally destroyed. So very grateful for that, and that's why I bought another pair. I think I'm already on my third pair. Besides the fall, I think the psychological effects stayed with me for a long time, but I got back on it like after a couple of days. I don't really remember, but I think I had another bike. I'm not really sure, but it didn't take me too long to replace the motorcycle and start riding once again. It did shake me up, and it did make me a lot more intelligent and wiser as a result. Knock on wood, I haven't got into an accident since the very first accident, and I've put probably about 20,000 miles on the road with motorcycles till this point, and I've ridden well over a couple of $1 million worth of motorcycles from every manufacturer and dealer that has loaned me a motorcycle, as well as individuals. Well, the motorcycle seems to ride well. I don't feel any indication that this motorcycle was ever gotten into an accident, and it got into a pretty good hard accident, believe it or not. If I got on this motorcycle blindfolded and then you took off the blindfolds and I was riding the motorcycle from where I did to here, I couldn't tell the difference if it was a brand new motorcycle or something that something got into an accident. Well, there you go. So, what's your take on it?
Super smooth. The torque's nice, and it's a lot easier to ride than that thing. It's got speed, and it sticks to the ground well.
What do you think is faster? You think this one's faster or that one?
That one by just a little bit.
Just a little bit, huh? Okay, it was in sport mode. That's full power.
Cool.
Yeah, but overall you like it, huh?
It's easy on my back. So.
After riding 2 Panigales and then getting on this, you're like, okay. It's a nostalgic feeling getting behind this motorcycle, because, you know, I got into a high side on this thing as I was pulling into the highway, so there's a lot of memories that are starting to come back to me, but I'm glad that it's back on the road. Walk me through what you've done to the bike since you bought it.
Not much, just maintenance, just to make sure it runs. When we got it, it started, but it wouldn't stay on. Because I think initially the clutch cover was torn off. You had the clear clutch cover on there previously.
Yeah.
And then replaced that with that. After that, we got the rear sets on. Redid the rear wheel because that thing was, I think it was, a chunk of it was.
Oh, it was destroyed, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. New clip-ons. Rizomas. Yeah, block-off plates.
Hanging off.
Very cool, man.
Kind of patched up the side.
Yeah, there's a hole over here from when this smashed into it, because this whole clip-on just totally got destroyed. Oh, and the whole rear end, let's not forget. You had to replace the frame underneath?
No, if you take a look at the subframe, it's still a little bit bent, but we only replaced the fairings.
I can't really tell, but it is a little bent, right? I see it. It's bent a little bit to the left. Man, that was a hard hit. Because I walked away from it, and because, you know, I didn't get hurt, I didn't really get upset or anything like that, because it takes 2 to tango, you know what I mean?
That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. It was, you know, she was a nice person, and she was like, you want my insurance and everything? And I was like, all right, don't worry about it. Let's just wait until the cops get here and figure it out. I was just happy to make it alive. That's all I really cared about. I didn't give a shit about the bike. I'm here in one piece. It was my first ever accident. I never got into an accident in my life before. After walking away with that, you know, like the psychological effect stayed with me for a couple of weeks. But then after this, I think I bought the Corsa model, right?
Yeah. You bought the Corsa right after that. And
then I sold the Corsa and I got my R6, which people thought I was crazy. But
like, yeah, as long as you're having fun, you know.
That's all that matters. But anyways, glad that she's back, glad that you're having fun with her. And if you guys haven't seen the episodes where I have my old 959, go check those out on the channel. That has been my story so far about my first ever accident. Stay tuned for more, and I will catch you on the next episode. Ciao for now.